Well, good morning and welcome to Georgia. I am getting ready to leave my lovely accommodations. This is where I slept last night, right here on this little back porch on this beautiful piece of property right along Cedar Creek, maybe? I can't remember the exact name, but I think it's Cedar Creek. It's just beyond those trees. There was a campsite down there she offered me, but since there was a chance of rain, which actually it just started sprinkling right now, she suggested the back porch of their guest house. They offer this guest house to family and hikers for $50 a night, but it was already occupied by 2 people that are out on the trail currently. So it was great having that sheltered area last night, and just wonderful people. Julie and her husband Roger, very generous and accommodating, and bent over backwards to help me out. All I did was make a post on Facebook, and I had several people reach out to me. Julie was the first one that reached out to me, so I took her up on her offer, and it ended up being a great choice. So very nice to meet Julie and Roger. I'll give you a look inside real quick. She said it was okay to go in. She actually said I could sleep on the floor in here if I wanted to, but there's other hikers' gear and food spread everywhere in here. But this is a awesome little guest house, and you got a full kitchen, refrigerator, bathroom, little living room area, and a bedroom. And Roger is an avid guitar player, as you can see here. I think he plays in a band. So awesome little place. And you can probably hear the rain. I was not expecting this. All right, fortunately the rain is letting up. It's just a little mist right now. And the forecast actually shows sunshine right now for my location on my iPhone. So not sure what's going on. But anyway, I want to give you another look at this lovely accommodations, the guest house of Julie and Roger. And there's their main house. They're actually both gone. Roger took off to do his own thing, and Julie is out supporting the 2 hikers that are staying in her guest house. She brought them breakfast, and I think she has to shuttle them back here as they are possibly completing the Pinhoti, Georgia section today, or maybe just another section, I'm not sure. This is about 3.5 miles outside of Cave City, and I'm getting ready to hop in my truck right this very moment and head over to Cave City and park in one of their designated Pinhoti Trail parking spots to wait for the Pinhoti Outdoor Center shuttle to pick me and another gentleman named Hayden, pick us up and take us to the mile number 1 of the Pinhoti Trail and get this hike underway. This was about the only place that was open last night, but it was amazing. Really good food. Kind of a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, but very friendly owners and staff and good food. Our shuttle just arrived from the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. This is Tigger. We're here at City Hall. I think that's what's called, City Hall. Yep. And they actually have designated parking for the Pinhoti Trail. How awesome is that? So feel very safe leaving the vehicle here at the City Hall. And I'm here with Hayden, another hiker from Tennessee. We're getting ready to hop in the van with our shuttle driver and get taken to the beginning and get this backpacking trip underway.
If you hike AT and come back the next year, you see all these people because it's reunion time.
I mean, you're missing, what, 30 yards? It's not much.
We made it to the southern terminus of the Pinhoti Trail. Here it is. Getting really excited to get on trail. It's been a long time in the works, a lot of planning, and the day has finally arrived. We got here safely with our Pinhoti Outdoor Center shuttle. Thank you, Tigger.
You're welcome.
I had good company with Hayden driving down here, and we're ready to get rolling. I already hit my first spider web. I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that. I was hoping that time of the season is over, but I guess not. All right, we're officially on the Alabama Pinhoti Trail. Well, I want to officially welcome you to the Pinhoti Trail. I am so excited to be here. Finally, after probably 4 years of thinking about this trail, I believe I found out about this trail around 2020, right after I did my very first fastest known time attempt on the Sheltoe Trace, which is a 343 mile trail in Kentucky and Tennessee. So this is a very similar trail in length and an elevation change. I got a tree I gotta climb over here real quick. But yeah, after I did my first self-supported attempt in 2019 on that trail, I remember looking at this one and eyeballing it as a possibility of going unsupported in like 21 or something, but I never did. Back then the FKT was a little softer. I think Jeff Garmeyer might have held a unsupported time on here. I self-supported or unsupported of 8 days something. So, you know, I felt like I had a good shot at getting that one. But anyway, I never did come here and just ended up doing 3 attempts on the Sheltoway Trace, 1 in every category. So no FKT today. This one is totally for enjoyment and relaxation. Now I am still going to push the pace a little bit because the shorter days means you have less hours of daylight to hike, and I don't really feel like night hiking on this trip. So we're shooting for 20s minimum, probably 25 max. Just depends on what kind of elevation gain I encounter along the way. So anyway, glad to be here. And it was really nice meeting Hayden. He's right behind me, a couple hundred yards. He is not going out fast, but he's a very consistent hiker. But he had no interest in trying to keep up with me, and that's fine. But I found out he is a farmer, a retired cattle farmer from Tennessee. So we kind of had a connection there in agriculture. It was really enjoyable riding down here. It was at least a 2.5 hour drive down from Cave City. So Hayden and I and Tigger all got to know each other pretty well. It was an enjoyable ride. And I feel myself huffing and puffing already because we're on a big hill. 1 mile in, you come to your first CCC cabin. Very nice. All right, my first stop is going to be Flag Mountain. I'm hoping to climb the tower. Just another half mile or so, maybe a mile. Well, unfortunately, I walked right by the trail that went to the tower. I see it up there. Right up there through the trees. I don't know how I missed it. Oh well, I'm not going to backtrack a half mile just to see that. Up here at the Flag Mountain Trails, and we got some really cool cabins up here. It's definitely a warm one today. It's currently 75 degrees. A little warmer than I typically like when I'm out on a backpacking trip, but that's all right. Highs the rest of the week are going to be in the 60s for the most part, with lows in the low 50s to upper 40s. So it'll be very comfortable sleeping weather at night, that's for sure. I got pretty cold in northern Michigan last month on the high country pathway, and I actually debated on which quilt to bring. I almost brought my 55 degree mountain hardware quilt, a synthetic quilt. I think that's what the company's name is, but it's very small, thin, lightweight. And I was afraid that if it did get down in the mid 40s that I would be kind of cold. So I brought my 20. I don't have in between. I really needed a 30 or a 40 for this one. But unfortunately I have my 20 degree, so I'll probably be pretty warm at night, but that's better than being too cold. Got a lovely little bench right there to take a load off and enjoy this spectacular view. Wow, that is pretty epic. So while doing research for this trail, I found out that they've been in major drought conditions for quite some time. Weeks and weeks and weeks with no real rain. And most of the seasonal water sources and springs and things like that are all dried up. I'm here at my first water source at 2.3 miles. And it's actually a slow trickle. Plenty of water here. It's actually moving. And plenty of deep pools to filter from. I mean, there's certainly going to be some dry stretches where I'll have to have larger water carries, but seeing this flowing water right here is a good sign. Here at our first shelter. Man, it's small. Weagufta shelter. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it looks like it's spelled Weagufta. And it's right on the beautiful Weagufta Creek, a river that's flowing really well. I just took my shirt off and soaked it in the creek because it is so dang hot out. I mean, for most people this is comfortable, but I like hiking in 50s, maybe 60s, not 75. But I'll take this over snow any day. Most people think Alabama is relatively flat, but I can assure you, there are some mountains out here. Well, I just popped out here on a road for my very first road walk on the Pinhoti. About 6.1 miles in, so still just getting started. Things are going great. Every water source has had water. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's not flowing fast, but there's a trickle. There's movement. That's what's important. Even if there wasn't, I'd be happy with the deep pools that I'm seeing. So yeah, water has not been an issue at all whatsoever. And I am very pleasantly surprised and grateful. Just finished enjoying an iced tea at Caperton's General Store and back out here on the road. I don't know how many miles this is. I don't really care. I'm enjoying it though. It's a nice change after being in the woods. I can't get over how bright the sun is. It's intense. But I've been in some shade, so it's not too bad. I can't believe how calm and quiet it is. I can't even think of a place in Ohio near my home where I can be on a road, an asphalt road, and not hear at least one car somewhere off in a distance. I mean, it feels like I'm out in the wilderness for sure. What in the world could this be? Some little random hut on the side of the road. Let's take a peek inside. I'm curious about what's in here, if anything. Huh. I have no idea what that is. Let me know in the comments if you know. Be a good place to duck out of the rain if it was pouring. Nice camping area. Water right over there. Mile 10.5. But far too soon to stop for me. Looks like the sun has just went below the tree line, but I'm down in a valley right now. Got a good hour left. I really wanted to get 15 miles, but I'm not going to hike in the dark, hopefully, unless there's a nice campsite or a shelter that I'm pushing for. I would be willing to hike in the dark a little bit for that reason, but we'll see. Yeah, check out this water flow. Excellent. I've decided to go ahead and filter here. We got 3 miles to our next water source, so I want to make sure I don't run out. It was getting a little bit low. I did bring a scoop with me, like a little piece of cut up water bottle, like the top 3 inches of a water bottle, in case I had gotten a desperate situation and had to scoop water out of a little pool. Man, it's a bright sun tonight. 45 minutes till I will not be seeing the sun anymore. 4:15. I can easily hike till 5, and then we'll start getting serious about finding water and a campsite. All right, let's sign in. Let's see when the last person came through here. Rooster and Boy Scout going Nobo section hiking yesterday. 11/11/24. Jason Wish Miller. That's what all my buddies call me. That's my trail name, Miller. I almost took the trail name Wishbone, but my wife said no. So it's Miller. Nobo thru-hike. Man, it's humid out. Whew. I'm ready. I'm almost considering night hiking just to get all this heat a little bit. So I've been walking by this pretty nice water source for the last half mile, and it looks like it continues according to Far Out. Well, if we do veer off of it, it looks like we're going to be coming back down to it, because Far Out says in 1.6 miles there's a great water source and a great campsite. So that'll put me at I'm just over 12 right now, 13.6, 13.7 for the day. So not too shabby. Not getting started till almost noon. So if this is a good spot up here and a mile and a half, I think we'll take it because it's starting to get dark. All right, I've made it to camp. Mile 13 and a half for the day. I don't know what this little structure is. There's no sign or anything in it, just someone's Gorilla Glue. Looks like coffee grounds and tortilla wraps and a shirt and pants. Huh. I'm just glad I got running water right here. This is gonna be fantastic. Well, unfortunately, it's gonna be too dark for me to show you my camp. The only light I have is my headlamp that I'm aiming at myself right now. I can see a little bit of daylight in the sky still, but not much. It's getting dark fast. It's about 5:30, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my tent set up and cook me some dinner. And I'll probably just turn in early. Hopefully I have a cell signal, but if not, no big deal. And I'll get an early start in the morning and I'll see you guys then. Just eating a couple packets of oatmeal for breakfast. And that's it. Fruit bar. Just wanted to give you a quick look at my campsite before I break it down, since it was dark when I got here last night. It is 6 a.m. Central. So we're getting out of here fairly early. It's finally light enough that I can get by without my headlamp. But pretty nice sight. And there's the fire pit with some nice sitting logs right on the edge of the water right there. And you can hear it over here running. It was nice to fall asleep to. All right, it's time to get moving. Got a big day ahead of us, hopefully 25 miles. All right, officially back on the move for my first real day of my Nobo thru hike, since yesterday was only a half day. It's 6:15 and I'm amazed at how light out it is. So I got up at 5:30 today. So that means for the rest of these mornings, I'm gonna try to get up at 5. It takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to eat breakfast, get packed up and get on the move. And I wanna take advantage of these early mornings when it's light out and cool out. So for now on, we're gonna try to get on the trail by 6 a.m. Let's go. Just got up on top of the ridge up here after about a mile of brutal climbing. It was a workout for first thing in the morning, that's for sure. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but the way I'm handling my resupply for the Alabama section is I arrived a day before I started my hike and I hung 2 resupply bags. One is at Cheaha State Park at mile 88. I just walked into the woods about 100 yards and hung my my bear bag, food bag. And then the second one is at Burns Trailhead at mile 145. So as long as no squirrels or other critters get into my bags, I should be good, but that's always a concern. It's never happened to me yet. I've done this many, many times, but there's always a first for everything. If that happens, it's gonna set me back a little bit. I'm sure I'll have to call some trail angels and get resupplied properly so I can continue on. But if you are interested in seeing what I have in my food bags, the 2 that I hung and the 4 days of food on my back, we're gonna cut to that right now at my house when I was laying out all my food for this thru hike. If you're not interested in seeing that, I did put timestamps in the video and you can just skip ahead right back to this thru hike. All right, this is a look at all of my food for the 190-mile Alabama Pinhoti. I like to make a simple spreadsheet to help me figure out how many meals I need each day and in each resupply bag. So as you can see here, I have 3 food bags. This is the one I'm going to be starting with. This will be hung at mile 88 at Cheaha State Park, and that one will be hung at mile 145 at Burns Trailhead. And then I just break down how many breakfasts, lunch, and dinners that I need. And I add them up so I know how many in each bag I need. So for example, if we look at my starting bag, I don't need a breakfast on day 1 because I'll be eating that on the road on the way to the trailhead. And then on day 2, I'll be at a cafe, near a cafe for breakfast. So I only need 2 breakfasts in my first 4 days. I will need a lunch all 4 days, so there's a total of 4. I only need a dinner for 3 days, and then on day 3, I'll be eating it in the town of Talladega. So I only need a total of 3 dinners, and I just do that for each resupply bag. So everything over here is for the starting bag, and then down the center column is for resupply bag number 1, and then over here on the far right is resupply bag number 2. So let's just take a look down the middle section here in a couple days. 3 breakfasts, 2 of them will be freeze-dried meals, 1 of them is 2 packs of oatmeal. And then this is a day, and this is a day. And it's basically replicated, maybe just a few minor changes, like one of them's chicken salad and one of them's smoked salmon. But then I have tailwind. This is the orange flavored, this is lemon lime flavored. Every day I have a payday, a fruit bar, either a honey stinger or stroop waffle, and then some caffeinated honey stinger chews, and some electrolytes. And this is extra down here in case I want more for lunch or dinner. Since they weigh next to nothing, you know, I like miso soup when I'm on trail, and I like hot and spicy ramen. And this is also 2 days worth of cheese and meat sticks for extra snacks on the trail. So breakfast is usually going to be around 400 to 600 calories. I have about 1,000 calories a day for lunch, and then usually around 700 to 900 for dinner. So there you have it, 9 days worth of backpacking food on the Alabama Pinhoti. Let me know in the comments if you see anything there that you have questions about, or maybe you have a suggestion on something I should change up in the future. Some of you may be wondering, why don't I just give my resupply bags to one of the trail angels or one of the general stores or restaurants along the way, or a hostel? You know, I could do that. I think it takes a little more planning on my part because it's more people I have to contact. I would rather just go into the woods and hang it out of sight and know that I can come and pick it up anytime, day or night, and don't have to rely on a business being open or being there during open hours, if you know what I mean. So that is one of the reasons why I do it that way. And like I said, I've never had a problem yet. Now watch this be the time that it happens. I do have a slight concern about the one at Cheaha State Park. I used a little thicker rope to hang the bag instead of that really thin line, like Zing It type line that come with most bear bag hanging kits. So it would be possible for maybe a squirrel or a chipmunk or something to shimmy down that rope and tear into my bag. Hopefully that won't happen, but it is a possibility that I have been concerned about. Look at this campsite. It even comes with a picnic table. Man, if I could have just started 2 hours earlier, I would have made it to here. Just popped out onto the road, got 3.5 miles to the Stewartville Cafe. I don't know if it's all on the road. It might be. Actually, that would be fine with me. I'm ready for a little road walking, make up some miles here. Are you a good dog? Huh? Are you a good boy? Yeah, you're a good dog. You're one of the good ones. All right, let's go for a walk. He didn't look very friendly when he was approaching, but he was a friendly one. Man, that's a big dog. There they come. Come up behind me to sniff me. We got the whole posse here. So yesterday afternoon, when I was up near Flag Mountain, near the cabins, I ran into an older gentleman, and he must have mentioned his faith at least 3 times during our 10-minute conversation. And just a few moments ago, a fella in a van stopped and chatted with me for a few minutes about the trail conditions, because he does trail maintenance on these first few sections. And I saw that he had a Bible in his front seat, and I said, "I see you have the good book there with you." And he said, "Amen." So it kind of feels like I'm down here in the Bible Belt. Put your faith, hope, and trust in Christ alone. It's the only thing that really matters. All right, it's lunchtime. Actually, it's still breakfast time maybe. Here at the Stewartville Cafe inside the Chevron station. Here at Stewartville Cafe at the Chevron station, and they didn't have any breakfast items. They had all their lunch out. They've got some chicken tenders, some pinto beans maybe, I'm not sure. And some fried okra. Oh, Milo sweet tea. Well, I just finished my lunch here at the Stewartville Cafe, and you aren't going to believe who showed up while I was eating. The Pinhoti Outdoor Center. Pinhoti famous Chuck Norris. And he's got to give me a lift from here over to the Pinhoti Outdoor Center because I've always wanted to stop by and check it out and meet Kim and Nathan, but unfortunately, excuse me, Kim and Nathan are out right now. So hopefully we can meet up with them later on in the hike at some point. But right now, I'm gonna hop in here with Chuck and let's go check out the center and I'll take you along for the ride. The Pinhoti Outdoor Center.
Yeah. Be involved in the hiker community and that kind of thing.
You got, oh my goodness, 8 of these things? Yeah. 7 or 8. J-Ben hikes. I'll be seeing him on trail here in a couple days. We're gonna pass each other. He's heading Sobo as I go Nobo.
'20 was the first year.
Okay.
So you can see the growth from the first year to, that's just the spring.
Oh, each one of these signs are a year.
A year.
Oh, okay.
And that's just spring so far.
Wow.
We probably will add another 100 between now and Christmas.
This is their little store. Very cool. Oh, look at all the maps. Wonder if there's anything here I need. I like these hats. Pinhoti Fest 2024 just happened back in September. Well, what do you know? J-Ben hikes again. Probably a lot of names on here I know, but I don't have time to read all those. All right, one final look at the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. Hopping back in the car, ready to get back on trail. Bowles Gap, Shelton Creek and Bowles Gap.
Shelton Creek and Bowles Gap.
Okay, and that's about how many miles between those two sections? 11, or did you say 11 or 12?
11 between
Shelton,
Trammell, and Bowles.
Okay.
Shelton is probably 15 miles to Bowles.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, back on the move. Thanks, Chuck. There's something you don't see every day. An armadillo carcass. Wow, it's like plastic. I'm not going to touch it. I've always heard you can get leprosy from them. Probably not dead ones, but I'm not going to take the chance. Well, after about 6-ish miles of road walking, back into the forest we go. And this is a welcome sight. Even though I really enjoy road walks a majority of the time, this one was getting hot. And I complained about the heat on the Florida Trail a couple years ago, and I got ripped in the comments about it that I don't know what hot is if I thought that was hot. I know what hot is. We get 95 degrees in high humidity in Ohio. It's just when I hike, I prefer 50s and 60s. So when it gets up to the mid 70s and full sun like this, feels hot to me when I'm hiking. Just taking a little load off by this little creek. It's barely flowing. It's just a couple little pools there. In about a mile and a half, we have a really good water source called Shelton Creek. And I'm definitely gonna stop and stock up there full. I'll fill all 3 of my bottles because I believe it's 11 miles with no water after Shelton Creek. So I'm definitely going through the water faster today. The heat's getting to me and I'm sweating a lot. So got to make sure I'm stocked up, cameled up, and ready for that dry stretch. Well, looky here, a nice water cache. I still have a liter with me, but this is Trammell trailhead, and I believe there's no more water till Bull's Gap. Maybe 7 or 9 miles, I'm not sure. All as I know, well, here's a sign. Bull's Gap Trailhead, 11 miles. So I'm pretty sure there's no water until Bull's Gap. And I can't make that many miles tonight. So I gotta camel up with everything I got right now and take a campsite before I start tapping into that water too much, because that has to be enough to get me through dinner and breakfast, and then make it out to Bull's Gap in the morning to get more water. So I knew this dry section was coming up, and I just got to plan appropriately to make sure I don't run out of water. Oh, holy moly, that's heavy. Every water bottle filled up and half of my Seanock. It's almost, gosh, what is that, 3.5 liters maybe? I mean, I got oodles of water to dry camp. It's just the fact that I have to carry this for 3 miles now, at least. Shoot, I might be carrying it for 6 miles. I haven't looked ahead to see where the next best campsite is, but you know, I don't have a problem with stealth camping or just dispersed camping along the trail, but we'll see what's up ahead. Definitely got a couple of good hours of daylight left though. Oh, don't want to forget these. All right, onward towards Bull's Gap. I don't know how far we'll make it tonight. I doubt if we'll make it to Forest Road 680, but we'll get close. Crunchy. The forest has really changed since I got off the gravel forest road at Trammell Trailhead, which was at mile 31.6, I believe. It's more of an old growth forest, a lot more big trees. It's open and vast and beautiful. Been walking through a lot of deforested areas, a lot of scrubby ground today. It wasn't so pretty. You know, a lot of areas that it's like they had the trail go through there just to connect to a different area to avoid the road. But this is really pretty. So hopefully there's more of this to come. Well, just taking a little breather. I just hit 20 miles. And there's a campsite in 2.5 miles from here. It's about 3:30. So in another hour from now, if the campsite looks good, I'll probably go ahead and take it. Especially if it has good cell service, because I might go live on YouTube tonight. But I got all the water I need so I can camp anywhere I want. But I think around 4:30, that'd be a good time to stop for the day. I don't really want to be searching for a campsite after dark like last night. Just arrived at camp. Got a little fire pit there, a couple stone seats, and another one right over here. This location is 22.5 miles for today. So not too shabby considering I blew about an hour and a half eating lunch and going to the POC with Chuck Norris. It's almost a little hard for me to believe that I'm quitting for the day at 4:10 p.m. But I can see the sun through the trees there, and in a half hour, 45 minutes, it's gonna be dark, or getting dark. And I'm up here on top of a ridge, like almost 1,500 feet high. And I think I'm on this ridge for a little while. There's no more water till Bull's Gap. So, yep, I think it's the right call to call it quits and get camp set up, enjoy a meal, maybe even start a fire tonight. We'll see. It's still not very cold out. I mean, I'm sweating pretty good. So it'll feel good to have camp all done and eating before it gets dark. So I actually had to dig into the bottom of my food bag to get the meal I wanted to cook tonight, this one here. So I just decided to get it all out and take a picture that I'm going to be posting on the Pinhoti Facebook page. Sorry for the shadow of my camera. I can't really get it out of the frame. But I got some Peak Refuel. I have Pinnacle Foods and Stowaway Gourmet as my freeze-dried meals. Some of you may be wondering, why don't I take those out of that packaging and put it in freeze-dried bags? I've done that in the past, but when I'm just doing a 3 or 4 day food carry, I just like to leave them in the pouches. It's just so much easier to rehydrate and eat. So I got cheese and meat sticks there. I got a bunch of these different brands of chicken creation type things. Some ramen, some stroop waffles. That's it. Fruit bars, some honey stingers. I have Tailwind and some electrolytes, Element electrolytes, coffee. So yeah, that's what's remaining for the next 3 days. Back on the move for the start of day 3. Can you see that sun? It's hard to believe it's up over the horizon already at 6:10 a.m. I was hoping to be on trail right at 6 o'clock, but it took me longer than expected to eat my Peak Refuel biscuits and gravy. It's made for 2 people. It's 1,100 calories, so it takes a little time to eat, but I'm ready to rock and roll. It's gonna be a beautiful day. I enjoy this cooler, cloudy weather. I think the highs today are in the 60s. The last 2 days have been in the 70s and pretty still and calm out, so I was sweating quite a bit. So I should stay nice and dry today. So the plan today is to go at least to Joglama Lake, which is gonna be a 20-mile day for me. I really want to prefer to go 25. But we'll see. We'll evaluate things when we get to that spot, see what time it is, see what the water sources are like. Well, there should be plenty of water. I'll be on a lake. And I know there's tent camping there. I don't think there's good cell service there. So if I get there early, I'll keep pushing on. But if I'm worn out and ready to quit and it's already like 4 p.m. Central Time, I'll probably go ahead and stop at one of those tent sites on Joglama Lake. I'm sure you can hear the wind out here. It was like this all night long. Fortunately, it went up and over my tent. It wasn't really blowing bad in my tent. But boy, oh boy, the trees were just shuddering above me. I could hear them all night long. I got woken up numerous times from the trees shaking and rustling above me from the high winds. And, you know, some sticks and leaves were falling on my tent. So I was a little worried that something was gonna puncture my tent and come in and hit me. Fortunately, everything was okay. And I enjoy this breeze. Maybe not quite this much, but you know, this knocks down any spider webs that could be across the trail. And you know, far less heat and humidity today, that's for sure. I just looked at the forecast. There is a 65% chance of rain from noon today until noon tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it misses me, but I am prepared for rain if it comes. There's been some pretty cool rock formations along the top of this ridge. I'm enjoying this ridge walk. This is just like a nice, gentle roller coaster ride. Very enjoyable. The sun has already went up into the clouds. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of where I'm hiking. Way up on this ridge, probably similar to the other ridge right there below the sun. Scattered and splattered. Well, no wonder I had good cell service up here on this ridge last night. Just a mile down trail, a cell tower. You're never gonna guess who I ran into on trail going Nobo. Hayden. He what do you call it, slack pack? Is it slack packing? Yeah, he stayed at the POC last night.
Small pack?
Yeah, nice lightweight pack, and got brought up to Bowles Gap, which is just about 2 miles up the trail, and he's hiking back to all the way to where they're gonna pick you up at POC.
Mile 26.
Okay, okay.
The trail goes off the road.
All right. Yeah, great day to be on the trail. It's a nice change from the heat and humidity we've had the last couple days.
Beautiful day.
Yep. All right, good talking to you, Hayden. Happy hiking. All right, 7.5 miles in for today, and I am at Bowles Gap, and there's supposed to be a water cache here. I figured it would be right here at the kiosk. Well, maybe it's across the road here. Oh, I see another kiosk and some cars over there. So yeah, I definitely need to stock up on water. I knew I was going to have water here, so I dumped some of the water I had. So I'm really light right now. The problem is there's no water for 14 miles. So thankfully it's overcast and cooler today. So I think I'm going to fill my 3 bottles up halfway and go for the 14 miles without a fill up. Whew, I was getting a little worried. I was already back in the woods and didn't see the cache, but here it is. Plenty of water. All right, let's get filled up and get back on the move. First decent view I've had in a while. Pretty spectacular. I bet we're gonna have a view up here. Oh yes, indeed. Whoa. Now that is a serious power line cut. My gosh. Man, that is incredible. You can hear the wind whipping through those poles, or whipping by it. We got 25-mile-an-hour winds out here today, folks, if not 30. Pretty blustery. Woo! That'll dry my back off. On a calm day, this would not be a bad spot for a fire. Just sitting for a spell. I just hit 50 miles, so the first little mini milestone of this trek. But I was just thinking back to my FKTs, how, you know, each day I was doing over 60 miles, or close to it, and how much longer it's taking to get miles under my belt when you're backpacking. Very similar to an unsupported style attempt. But this takes a lot of effort too. But I just can't believe I'm only 50 miles in. I feel like I should be at 80 or 90 by now. It's slow going. Look what I just stumbled upon. I know there's no way of knowing that this water is here. I mean, it's not an official cache. Obviously someone dropped it off coming up this access road here. I wouldn't have had to carry so much water. We're about halfway between Bowles Gap, where I resupply with water, to Dry Creek, which is where the water's flowing. But check out this view. Some firewood. Oh man, this is fantastic. I would love to camp here. This is the best one of the whole trail so far. In the first 50 miles, this is by far the best view. Wow. Still a little hazy and cloudy out there, but that is nice. I ran into a fellow hiker today, Michael.
How you doing?
From South Alabama.
Yep.
Trail named Gideon. And
Or Papaw.
Or
Not sure
Papaw.
which one it is.
He's done some hiking on the Appalachian Trail. You've done some sections of the Pinhoti, a
Yep.
little bit of Benton Mackay.
Yep.
What has been your favorite part of the Pinhoti so far?
I think, like we talked about, I like the variety. Always wondering what's around the next bend, and I think that's what keeps me coming out.
Yeah, it's very unique so far. Even though we're only, well, I am 55 miles in, barely.
Yeah.
Got a long way to go. I'm seeing a lot of unique things on the trail so far. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
What is your favorite trail food?
Probably barbecue corn chips.
That sounds good. I just had barbecue pork.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And what's something that might be in your pack that you're not looking forward to eating on the trail? Or they'll stay there until last?
Probably that another Cliff Bar.
Oh, I hear you on that, man. I've had my fill of Cliff Bars over the years, that's for sure. Ugh.
Yeah.
I do have some in my truck, and when I do a resupply, I'm gonna have to take some with me, I think.
Sometimes they get bigger in your mouth.
Yeah. If you could choose any trail to go hike next year, and money wasn't an option,
Ooh,
where would you go?
probably either the PCT.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yep. I don't know, some of those sections bother me being a hammock camper though.
Yeah, yeah, it could be a little more difficult to
Yeah.
hammock camp on the PCT. I'm sure people do it, but
Yeah.
it would, a tent would probably make more sense there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a hammock camper, and he's going to be choosing a spot here in about near that lake here, about
Yeah.
maybe about 4 miles away. He's
Yeah.
going to be calling it a day. It's only 1 o'clock, I think, or yeah,
Yep.
1 o'clock
1:15.
Central. So I got a couple more hours of hiking ahead of me.
I'm not an FKTer though.
We've had a great time hiking. We've been hiking together for probably 4 or 5 miles. Great conversation. I was getting a little lonely out there. 3 days with no one to talk to.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you hiking with me.
You
and
bet.
Had a good conversation with you.
I appreciate you hiking with me.
We're not sure what we got going on here. We found a Big Lots trail. Just hit 20 miles for the day. It's about 2 p.m. and my water is definitely starting to run low, but I think we're only about 1.5 miles from Dry Creek. That is where there's supposed to be a reliable water source. And then just beyond Dry Creek, probably 2 miles from here, is Jog Llama Lake. I'm not sure if that's the right way to pronounce it, but that's what I'm calling it. And I think that's where Michael's going to be possibly setting up camp for the night. I'm hoping to go at least 2 more hours, if not 2.5. Shooting for that magical number of 25 still. We will see. Feeling pretty good right now, but I am starting to get a little bit hungry, so I think I'm going to break out one of my last snacks before tonight's dinner, and it is a payday bar. I always like paydays on the trail. Alrighty, Michael, it was good hiking with you. Really enjoyed our time together. Good conversation, and helped miles pass quickly.
Sure did.
All right, I'm gonna move on along. Try to get another 3 or 4 miles in yet tonight because it's a little early yet. But I think Michael's gonna either camp here. There's a couple sites. There's one right here and one down that way at this Jog Llama Lake, also known as Scott's Lake, I believe. No cell service down here, unfortunately, but I'm gonna push on to the next water source that might or might not have water about 3.5 miles down the trail, and one little tent site spot. So that's where I'm heading for, but I am cameled up just in case there is no water. I think I have enough to get me through the night. Alrighty, Michael, enjoy the rest of your hike.
You too.
And I'll talk to you on YouTube.
All right.
Oh wow, check this out. It's like the entrance to an old homestead or something. There's the stairway. That has been there for a long time. Look how big those trees are around it. Man. Wonder what the history of that is. And a bunch of stacked flagstone up here. If you know the history of this area, drop me a comment down below. I'm really curious. So I just remembered that Porter's Gap supposedly has water cached. The latest far out comment was 3 days ago, and there was still a gallon there. So I'm taking my chances. I just dumped 2/3 of my water. I was sick of hauling all that water way up and down these hills. So I'm super ultralight again, and I'm only 2 miles away from it. I hope there's water. And if there's not, I either gotta have to call someone or go another 1.5 miles further where there is supposedly there's scoopable pools of water, puddles. And I might have to rely on that if it's gone at Porter's Gap. Just about down to Porter's Gap. Another 1/4 mile. It's kind of pretty down here. If that creek was flowing down there, I would consider camping right there. But I can hear the highway noise down at Porter's Gap. It's kind of noisy here. Not too bad though. All right, here at Porter's Gap. Getting ready to cross the road. And just up ahead, there should be at least 1 gallon At least there was 3 days ago. Hopefully it's still there. The Pinhoti Outdoor Center said they would bring me water if there's no water there, but I don't want to make them drive 45 minutes up here just to bring me water. So if there's no water here, I'll probably continue on to where there's another water source that's scoopable, supposedly. So that's option B, plan B. There's the trailhead sign. Now let's go see if we can find that water up here. Oh, look at what I see. Yes, 2 fresh gallons. Oh, that's awesome. I will definitely add to the far out notes that there was 2 fresh gallons here. I probably won't even need half a gallon. And it's off into the forest to look for a campsite. Currently at mile 25. I got nothing but massive hills all around me. I'm at mile 26 and it's almost 4:30. I need a place to camp and I think I may have just found it. Let's go check it out. It's like the only spot anywhere around here, unless I go over the next ridge. I think this is it. Oh my goodness, you aren't gonna believe it. It even has an existing fire ring. Yes, hit the jackpot right here. I'm not gonna start a fire, so I'll probably just put my tent right here next to it. It's the only good flat spot. This is great. I was starting to worry a little bit. I didn't want to be hiking in an unfamiliar place in the dark trying to find camp. I'm good to go. Got water, got a campsite. What more could you want? All right, there's camp for tonight. It started sprinkling on me right while I was setting up, but it just stopped. Today was a really good day. I ended up with 26 miles, so really happy with that. I'm gonna cook some dinner, relax, and enjoy the internet a little bit because I got full service here. I'll see you guys in the morning, bright and early at 6 a.m. Well, good morning here on day 4. Just going through my morning ritual, morning routines. Got my coffee that I'm enjoying right now and boiling up some water for my final breakfast in this bag, this food bag. Breakfast sausage and egg scramble, Pinnacle Foods. My food bag's getting really light, which I like. I have a lunch in there and it'll be empty. The rest of it's just a bunch of empty stuff and it's thrown away. So overall, I slept pretty good last night. I was awakened a few times from the rain. It was on and off all night. And it looks like it's gonna continue for the next couple of hours. But then it's supposed to be sunny out the rest of the day. So I should be reaching the Cheaha Wilderness boundary here this afternoon. And water may be an issue again today. I did see 2 or 3 decent spots I should be able to get water. And a bunch of nice campsites in Cheaha area, about 20 to 22 miles down trail. So that's my plan today, just to get about 22 miles. And then I'll pick up my resupply bag first thing tomorrow morning because my breakfast is in there. I don't have any more breakfast, so we've got to get pretty close to that so I can have breakfast for tomorrow morning. All right, I want to finish up my routine here. Coffee, breakfast, break down, and get back on the trail for a couple hours of hiking in the rain. Getting on the trail about 6:15. It's finally bright enough to see without a headlamp. I don't think it's really raining. I think that's just drops falling from the trees. It might be sprinkling or misting out a little bit. It looks awfully foggy out there. I'm just happy it wasn't a downpour when I was packing up my tent. There's nothing worse than doing that. We finally got our first view of the day. Socked in with the clouds and fog a little bit, but not too bad. It's pretty. Looks like I'm in the Red River Gorge now. Boy, now we're really socked in. Can't see nothing out there. But I know this is all gonna burn off this afternoon. We're supposed to be back in the mostly sunny skies for the rest of this week. Well, I guess today's Thursday, at least for the next couple days. You'll probably think this is pretty silly, But one of my biggest concerns right now is which hostel I'm going to stop and take a Nero at to possibly take a shower, charge my devices, and eat a meal in town, maybe wash my clothes. I don't know. But you know, at mile 105, I can get picked up by either 8 acorns or Green Hippies Hiker Hostel. All right, on this little road section, we gotta cross the railroad tracks and then that little bridge, and on the left there should be a spring. I have a little bit of water right now, but I need to load up a little bit more because I have a 9-mile water carry. Definitely plenty of water here. Actually, I can actually hear it rushing down this way. All right, I just filtered about 1.5 liters right back there behind me. And normally I would take more water than that for a 9-mile water carry, but it's so cool and overcast today. I don't think I'll require a lot of water. Plus, I'm hopeful that there's at least one of the 4 or 5 dry water sources ahead that may have water now after last night's rain. At least a scoopable puddle. It's been some slow going through here. It's like a rock garden for the last half mile. The rocks are wet and it's raining. So I'm holding my umbrella in one hand, trekking poles in the other, navigating our way through this mess. This is the first time I've come out of the woods in like 3 miles here at this power line cut. About halfway through the day, currently 12 miles in. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter day because of where I'm going to end up. Far Out says there's a great campsite with water and cell service at mile 85, I think. So that's only going to be like a 23-mile day. So I was just thinking while I was walking along how this experience so far out here in Alabama really feels like true wilderness. You're out in the middle of nowhere without any roads, any towns, any sounds of anything except the wind, some birds, a few deer. Pretty amazing out here. Other than the rustling of the leaves, there hasn't been any sounds whatsoever of cars or towns or trains. Well, what do you know? Look who decided to join us today. Wow. That's glorious. Just arrived here at a little intersection. 6 miles to go to Lake Chenabee and the Silent Trail. I'm going just beyond that today. And looks like Adams Gap, oh, just up ahead, 0.1. There should be water there. Well, it is high noon and I'm currently 15 miles in, only 10 miles from my resupply bag. We are now in the Cheaha Wilderness, and I don't believe they blaze the trees with the blue blazes in the wilderness, within the wilderness boundaries. I think I'll see some old ones from when they used to do it, but they have not been doing that anymore. So if I get turned around and don't see blazes, at least I have the Far Out app. I almost can't believe how nice the trails have been so far on this first mile in the Cheaha Wilderness. And it's been mostly descents, so I'm just cruising right along, making good time. Whew. I'm almost to the top of Cheaha. This mountain is a beast. It definitely rivals anything in the Adirondacks that I went up, and blows away anything on the Sheltowee Trace. Maybe not in steepness, but distance, navigating, length of time you're on this mountain. Holy moly. I've lost the blazes at least twice. I would not recommend doing this in the dark, or you'll be stranded on the mountain. Oh, let's go check out this view. I bet it was worth it. Whoa. I was down in the bottom of that. Try not to breathe hard, sorry. That was an extreme mountain. All right, finally caught my breath. Back on the move. All right, one more view to check out here. Can't pass this up. This looks like a good one. Oh boy. So glad it turned out to be a pretty clear day. My goodness, what a vast wilderness. I had no idea. I don't know if I'm working my way up over that or if I'm still going that way for a while. All right, here's the current situation. It's 2:30, so I got 2 hours of daylight left. And I think I'm still at least 5 miles from my resupply bag and the parking lot to Chia State Park. I don't think there's any water between here and there, so I'm gonna have to push at least 5 or 6 miles, and it might be dark when I arrive, and hopefully someone's in the parking lot that has a couple bottles of water. Otherwise, I might have to night hike until I find water. I mean, there is just no water out here. I guess I might have to go up to Chia State Park. That's what I'll do. So yeah, 5 or 6 miles. We've got to start hoofing it. I lost a lot of time back there on that mountain. That really slowed me down. I had a couple 36-minute miles climbing up those things. So now I'm ready to kick it into high gear and go find some water. This was a sign that my buddy left for me. It said, "Hi, Jason." But that's all that's left of it. Not really legible now. But it's the thought that counts. Another grand overlook. Wow. So, I was on top of that peak over there. And I've been coming across, zigzagging my way over here. Don't have time to dilly-dally. I still got about 4 to 4.5 miles to the state park, and the sun's already dropping. Dang, if I had water, I'd be stopping right here. That's perfect. A nice seat. That's gorgeous. All right, just 1.5 miles further. I'm down to my final gulp. I'm actually feeling a little bit of pressure to get there before dark. I mean, I've been in much worse circumstances on fastest known time attempts, but that's not what this hike's about. I don't really feel like hiking in the dark. There it is right there, 1 inch of water in there. Man, I've been rationing it hard for the last 8 miles. I'm probably at least 1 liter or 2 dehydrated by now. So not much further, and I'm gonna camel up. You know what? I'm really craving a ginger ale and a bag of salty chips. I'm gonna sit down on a bench in that state park and have a heyday. That's the last time I got water, 11 miles ago. And even when I filled up there, I only filled up halfway. This was bad. Oh my goodness, that is a sight for sore eyes. Look what's up ahead. The Chia State Park store. I'm gonna go inside and raid it. Well, I ended up getting my salt and vinegar chips. They didn't have ginger ale, so I got a Dr. Pepper cream soda. All right, I'm leaving Chia State Park. I'm not paying 22 bucks to walk who knows how far up that road up there to find a primitive campsite with no power. And I'm not paying the big money for the site with power, so I'm going back to the trail. I got about a half-mile walk down to the parking lot where my food bag is hung. I'm gonna see if I can find a stealth site down there. And if I can't, I got about a 1 mile walk to an actual campsite on the trail. Don't really want to do that, but it is only 5:15. It's not like it's that late. It's just gonna be a little bit of night hiking. Let's go do it. All right, I finally made it to camp. I didn't want to stay at the campground up at Cheaha State Park. So I walked back down the trail near the parking lot, trailhead parking lot, where my resupply bag is, and I found a little spot to pitch my tent that was just barely level enough. I'm pretty sloped downhill, but it'll be good for my feet to be propped uphill a little bit tonight. They're a little achy after almost 28 miles through the mountains. It was a rough one today. But my dinner was delicious. It was Pinnacle Foods Chipotle bean burrito something. It was really good. But I am whooped, ready for a good night's sleep, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning for day 5. There it is. My first resupply bag survived the last 5 days. All right, I'm gonna get it down, throw out my pack, and get on the move. 6 a.m. All right, here we go, starting day 5, leaving the Cheaha State Park trailhead. And since I've already done the little connector trail up in the woods, I decided just to walk the road a couple hundred yards back to the trail. It's gonna be a glorious day, not a cloud in the sky. Since I didn't get to have breakfast this morning because it was in my resupply bag and I was waiting for daylight to be able to see it, I'm just gonna grab these and eat them on the go. I am missing my coffee. That was one little mistake I made. I mean, I have plenty of coffee in my resupply bag. It's just, I had my entire tent and everything broke down and packed up. So I should have put today's coffee in the very first bag that I started with. That way I could have had it in the tent this morning in the dark before I broke down camp. Here we go. Back into the wilderness, leaving Cheaha State Park. Check out the sunrise getting ready to happen right now. Oh man, that is beautiful. I've seen so many amazing campsites today with water access. Look at all that water down there. Hopefully I am fortunate enough tonight to have an actual campsite with water. And if I get there early enough, I might even start a fire. I'm really craving one. Back there at Bull's Mountain Shelter, right after Cheaha, someone had a fire burning and I could smell the campfire smoke for about a mile. It smelled so good. Crossing County Road 24. It's a busy county road. Just sitting down, taking a little breather at this important milestone that I just reached. 100 miles. Got a long way to go, but this is a big step towards finishing all 351 miles. Feels good. I'm almost 13 miles in for the day. I got about 4 more, and I'm getting picked up by 8 Acorns Hostel to go charge up my power banks and my phone, maybe take a shower. I don't know what their facilities look like. And hopefully they can take me to get a coffee at Elevated Grounds, and I'm really craving some chicken wings. So I decided to add a little bit of color to my number 100. I like it. Maybe someone else will get to appreciate that as well. All right, so I'm at the trailhead for US 431, and my shuttle driver is here. In this nice Jeep, this is Duska with 8 Acorns.
Hi.
And she's gonna take care of me today. She's gonna whisk me off to her place. I gotta charge 2 of my power banks. I got a hankering for a cup of coffee and maybe some chicken wings, so we'll see. But I'll really need to get back on trail in a couple hours so I can get a couple more miles down trail before the sun sets, because I have a campsite picked out that has water and a bench. man, it's always a win when you get a campsite with either a picnic table or a bench. I wish I could stay in town longer, but you know, I'm kind of under a time crunch. I got to get this trail finished up before Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna throw my pack in here, hop in with Duska, and take a load off. Hey, we got some ducks in here. All right, this is the hostel at 8 Acorns. 8 Acorns, let me make sure I say it right. Has all your needs. This is really nice. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can sleep 5 people. And laundry. A wonderful bathroom. How'd you come up with the name 8 Acorns?
It was named for the grandkids. We did the oak tree, which you know, always grows and provides shelter and service. And at the time we had the 8 grandkids. All are the little acorns laying under the tree on the logo. All are in different forms, turn different ways, because our goal is that all of those acorns will go out, develop their own tree, and provide service and shelter to someone else in whatever form they choose. Okay. So we now have 9 grand acorns instead of 8, but but that was our goal, is to create a legacy.
Okay, I like that. Finally got my coffee. I'm a happy man. All right, I've been off trail for an hour now. I've got to enjoy my coffee, and now I'm getting ready to enjoy a rib platter from Marie's Barbecue. Look at those St. Louis style ribs with coleslaw and Brunswick stew. Oh yeah. Boy, does it feel good to be cleaned up. Just got out of the shower, got a clean shirt. I still have the same shorts and underwear, but embrace the suck, right? This is my one luxury item that I brought. Super glue. And I'm glad I brought it. Look at my toe cap. It has seen better days. I don't want that to get any worse, so I'm gonna clean that up and throw some super glue on there. And then I should be ready to get back on trail. So I wanted to mention a little bit more about 8 Acorns while I'm here. It's a 501c3, and they provide cabins and shuttle services for hikers. And if you look on the back here, their main objective is to provide accessible camping and outdoor recreation for families of disabled veterans, the fallen, and others with disabilities. And then they also have this hostel cabin and provide shuttle service and support for hikers like me in close proximity to the trail. Pretty awesome. Check them out if you're down in this area. Check out this new toy that 8 Acorns just bought to help clear land. Oh, hey, buddy. Hi there. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, you're a good dog. No, you stay out. Come on. Come on out. Let's go. All right, we're back to the 431 trailhead. Duska just dropped me off, ready to get back on trail. Looks like I got about a little less than an hour of daylight left to get down the trail, about 2.5 miles to 3 Magnolias campsite. That's the one I'm going for. Duska, thank you very much for your help. I really appreciate it.
If you need anything, just give us a shout.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. There she goes. And here I go, back onto the trail. There's something you don't see every day. I didn't know what that was when I was walking down the trail from a distance. I thought it was someone's food bag at first. This looks like a helium balloon. All right, just a few hundred yards to go to my campsite for tonight. Hopefully no one's there. All right, here we go. It's gonna be cold, damp, and dark down here in this valley. And I can hear highway noise a couple miles off in the distance during rush hour here. But I think this will do for tonight. I feel really good right now. I feel strong. I could go for 2 or 3 more hours, but that means night hiking. So I think I'm just gonna call it quits here for today. Get a really good night's sleep and go a minimum 25 tomorrow. And I'm getting real close to feeling like I'm gonna have some 30s in me here real soon. Wow, got a nice pile of firewood there. I might just go ahead and make me a fire tonight. All right, camp's all set up. Really nice having this bench. I haven't decided whether or not I'm gonna build a fire. The wood is kind of wet, but if I do, I'll bring you back for a little bit of fireside chat. Otherwise, I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, bright and early at 6 a.m. for another big mile day, minimum 25 miles. I'll see you then. Good night. Just another day walking through the woods. Good morning. Day 6 here on the Pinhoti. And it's starting out to be a good one. Calm, dry. A little chilly, but not too bad. It's low 40s. So I'm hoping to put down a pretty big mileage day today. A minimum of 26 miles. And that will get me to mile 133 and the Laurel shelter. I got started at 6 a.m. so I should not have any problems knocking out 26 miles as long as there's no issues. But this is Saturday. And I think there's right before that shelter, there's Pine Glen campground, and also maybe a lake. And I read on Far Out that it can be busy with RVers and tent campers, so it's possible that someone could be in that shelter since that's nearby that area. And if that's the case, I'll just move on down the trail and find myself a stealth site. So that's kind of the plan today. Just enjoying my walk through the woods on the Pinhoti. Unfortunately, I can hear some traffic noise ahead. I'll be crossing over a highway here shortly. Got a nice water cache here, but I don't need any. Onward. Just popped out on the road for a couple hundred yards to get across this busy highway. This is what I was hearing all night long. Highway 281. Correction, that was I-20 I just crossed over. US 281 is a couple miles ahead. There's no bikes, motorcycles, or horses allowed on these trails. I'm trying to figure out what these skid marks are with a pile of leaves. My only guess is that it is a one wheel. I think someone brought their electric one wheel out here. Wow, that's pretty cool. Almost looks like a little cave. Nope, dead end. Hey, looky there, entering Chaco Laco. WMA. You can tell they did a recent burn in here. It's been very pretty so far through this section. Boy, oh boy, check out this epic campsite. There's not really a flat place for tents, but look at that bench. I'm actually gonna sit down and take a load off for a minute and enjoy this view. So, looking out there, I'm guessing that high point right there is Cheehaw, which is where I was yesterday morning, 20 some miles away. Wow. I'm guessing that's what it is because Cheehaw is the high point of Alabama, I believe. By the way, I failed to mention back there at that little bench where I sat down and took a break, that was the 1/3 mark of the Pinhoti, mile 117. So something I've been doing today to kind of help pass the time, and a little bit of a personal challenge, because I like challenges. Even though this is a relaxing through hike and not a fastest known time attempt, there's still a little part of me that likes to play that little game with my watch. So right out of the gate this morning, started at 6 a.m. and I'm doing my best to maintain a minimum of 3 miles an hour, so 20-minute miles. On flat ground, that's a piece of cake. But when you throw in some elevation, time shedding layers, filtering water, opening food, or getting food out of your pack, you know, all those things take time, and it really slows you down. So I would start getting behind, and I would walk really fast on the downhills, almost a light jog to try to make the time back up. But I have been able to maintain it. Coming up on 12 miles here, just a few minutes, and it'll be exactly 4 hours. But I'm not going to continue that all afternoon. That gets to be a little rough after 12 miles of doing that. So I'll probably back off a little bit because we're making really good time today. Oh, and another reason that I do that is because of how short the days are. The quicker I can get my 25, 26 miles done, the more time I'll have to relax around camp in the daylight. If I dilly-dally, stop too often, walk too slow, I'm gonna have to hike in the darkness. And you might be asking, what's the rush? You're right, good point. I'm not out here to rush, but at the same time, I have a schedule I gotta kind of follow or keep to get out of here before Thanksgiving. I would like to be off trail by November 26th, and it's gonna take me a day to drive home, and then I'll be home for Thanksgiving. So that is kind of why I'm pushing just a little bit and trying to make good time. All right, made it to the Lower Shoals shelter, and I can hear water running all the way around it. The creek goes all the way around. Man, this is really nice. Ah, good place to cook with this little metal backing. Wow. I sure hope the shelter I'm staying at tonight is like this one. This is fantastic. Well, I'm gonna at least stop and take a 5 or 10 minute break, sit down, have a little snack. All right, onward. That is a beautiful shelter in an absolutely amazing setting where it's located. No cell service though. Now the next shelter that's coming up is called Laurel Shelter, and it's only like 11.8 miles away. So I'm gonna get there fairly early in the day. There's a good chance I'll continue on, but we will see. Let's get rolling. The little creek I've been walking beside has turned into a full-on river now. Pure silence. I hear a cricket and a jet, barely. Man, this is really nice. So I just hit the 20-mile mark. I'm just sitting down and taking a load off for 1 minute. I'm only 5 miles away from Laurel Shelter, and it's only 1 o'clock, so I'm making really good time. So by 3 o'clock, I'll be there. And if there's people there or no cell service, I'm going to continue on to Coleman Lake Campground, which is 2.5 miles further. So that's kind of the plan right now. It's nice knowing I have 2 options up ahead. Pine Glen Campground. Down there. I see picnic tables, fire rings, and bathrooms, but far too early to stop. I keep seeing these open spots with green grass in them, and most of them are many acres. I'm guessing they're food plots for deer. Huh, this is something different. At first I thought I was coming out of the woods to a lake. There still might be a lake up here. I'm not sure. This is Sweetwater Lake. Looks pretty crowded. Well, unfortunately, the shelter was pretty full, and the whole camping area around the shelter. No cell service either, so that was the cue for me to march onward to Coleman Lake Campground. 3 more miles. That's a church down there, a hand-hewn log church. 1845. This is one of 6 built in 1895. Okay. Wow. If it was just a little bit earlier, I would go check it out. But it's going to get dark on me in less than an hour. And I still have 2 miles to go to the campground. Actually, probably closer to 2.5. So I've got to keep trucking along. Just got off the trail to the Coleman Lake Campground connector. Probably another half mile. I can see some vehicles up in the woods. Beautiful little lake. What a big stinking waste of time. I just blew probably 20 minutes and 3/4 of a mile walking back into that campground. All the sites are giant pea gravel. I can't put my duplex up in that stuff. I'm moving on. There's another campsite with water, 0.7 down the trail. Oh well, it is what it is. I think I just found camp. Yeah, this will work good. Check it out. There's water right there, 50 feet away. Nice little fire ring, plenty of flat spots. Let's do it. All right, I decided to start a fire. It's struggling a little bit. There's not a lot of dry stuff down here in this low area, but I think it's gonna go. I'm gonna enjoy my dinner out there. I'm gonna start off with some hot, spicy ramen, and then one of my freeze-dried meals from either Peak Refuel or Stowaway Gourmet, Pinnacle Foods, or Mountain House. Yet to be determined. Camp is all set up. Just gotta blow up my air pad, and I'll be good to go. It was a big day, 29 miles. I'm glad it's over. Good morning. Just made my way out of camp. Took me a little longer today. I wasn't in a rush. So got out of camp about 6:30. Because I'm only planning on going 20 to 23 miles today. And 20 miles is Terrapin Creek Dam. I think that's what it's called. And 23 miles is Oakley Mountain Shelter. And if I can make it to Oakley Mountain Shelter, which should be fairly easy since it's only 23 miles, that'll set me up for reaching Cave Spring by tomorrow night. I could go do my resupply and stay at Julie's, where I did before I started my trip. And then I could hit the ground running the next morning for a full day. So that's kind of my plan. We'll see how it all shakes out. It was a cold one last night. It might have dipped into the upper 30s. A lot of dew, but it's shaping up to be another beautiful day on the Pinhoti. So yesterday, I noticed that every time I'd check far out to check the water sources or campsites, so on and so forth, there was always a name on there that had just made a recent post named Boats and Snickers. And I just happened to run into them right now. Hey. These guys are doing a section here on the Pinhoti I finally caught up with them. They were telling me about their adventures on the PCT, and they have plans to go back and try it again. They didn't quite finish it last time, and they're just out here doing some hiking on the Pinhoti, trying to maintain their trail legs or get their trail legs. So how long have you been out here? Just since yesterday?
Yeah, just
Since Thursday night.
Thursday night? Okay. And then you'll be getting off today, right?
yeah, today's our last day. Got to go back to real world, unfortunately. I don't know, I guess this is truly the real world.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would call that out there.
This is pretty darn nice, that's for sure. So, the big news of the day for me is that I may finally have a trail name. Thanks to Boats and Snickers. Is it boat or boat? Boats?
Yeah.
Boats and Snickers, okay. So, they've come up with a trail name for me called FAFO. And there's a couple different ways you could say that, but we're gonna say fart around and find out. So that is my new trail name, maybe. I've been given like 4 trail names over the last couple years, and I kind of like this one. We might go with it. Fart around and find out. That was a little tricky. You know, I have been able to get through this trail so far from the very beginning without getting my feet wet one time.
Oh,
It's pretty dry.
that's impressive.
Yeah. All right, Boats and Snickers, it was great talking with you guys. Good meeting you.
You too.
Happy hiking.
Happy trails.
Woo! All right, I have arrived to Burns Trailhead. Right down there is where I parked. I ran up here, and my food bag is hanging right down there about 50 yards. So let's go see if we can find it. All right, I just found it. I was getting worried there for a minute. I didn't see it where I thought it was. So luckily I put a pin on my Gaia GPS, but right when I was opening it up, I saw it. There it is, safe and sound. 2 days worth of food in there and a little bit of fuel. Food bag retrieved. I'm not looking forward to putting that extra weight in my pack, that's for sure. Just finished up a brutal mile-long climb, if not longer. Whew. But I just hit the 150 mile mark, so we're still making progress. I'm 14 miles in for the day. I only got like 8 or 10 to go, something like that. So even though this mountain was huge, we're still making good time today. I just wish there was a view to show you. See, you can't really see anything. Everything's blocked by the trees. Hey, what do you know? We finally got a little bit of a view. Man. We're up pretty high. Dead calm and peaceful and quiet. It's been so noisy, and now it's finally a little quieter with more pine duff and leaves. Just crossed over the Terrapin Creek Dam. Looks like there's some boats and canoes down there. Now check out this side. Wow. I got 4 miles to go, about 3.5. And it's gonna be taking me up in there, I believe. That is a mountain. It looks like the tallest peak up there. I might be heading up to there. Who knows, I might be going across all of them. Taking a 5-minute breather before I start walking up this mountain right there. It's only 2 o'clock, so I don't feel like I'm in a big hurry. 3.5 miles. I should be there sometime between 3:30, 4 at the latest. It gives me 2 hours to do 3.5 miles. Shouldn't be any problem. Having a beef stick and some cheddar cheese. While I was sitting here having my meat and cheese snack before tackling this mountain, I was thinking about how different this trail is than the Sheltovie Trace in Kentucky and Tennessee. I mean, it is unbelievable how much of this trail is single track trail in the wilderness and how few roads you cross. The main difference so far in the first 155 miles that I've done here in Alabama is the Sheltowee Trace, when it comes out to a gravel road or a 2-track, it'll stay on it, sometimes for miles. Road walks, probably about the same so far. I know I got a lot of road walks coming in Georgia. There's twice as much road on the Pinhoti as there is the Sheltowee. However, that's not the case in the Alabama section. I mean, sometimes I remember getting aggravated that I could see a gravel road right next to me, and I was thinking how nice it would be to walk on it, but the Pinhoti does not use roads. They are single track in the woods all the time. It is amazing. So if you're looking for a true wilderness experience of no gravel road, forest road, 2-track trails to have to be on, Pinhoti is where it's at. Oh my goodness, this is rough. I'm only 1.5 miles in. Still got 2 more miles to go. I am looking so forward to this shelter. The only thing I can compare it to is how I would feel about getting to my condo in the Caribbean, if I had one. Oh, I just cannot wait. Fortunately, I made it to the top of this beast. 900 feet of gain in 2 miles. But I don't have to go up anymore. I didn't realize that the water source in the shelter is down 300 feet from here. So I should have a nice, easy 1.5 mile cruise on into the shelter area. I would pay big money to have a deep dish pizza or Mexican food waiting on me at the shelter. Sounds so good. 4 o'clock. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Good morning. I know you can't see anything. Normally at 6:15 it's pure daylight. So I'm not sure what happened. I think the time change, which I didn't expect to happen until I crossed the Georgia line tonight or tomorrow morning. It must have happened overnight on my phone, because I'm thinking it's not going to get light out for another 45 minutes. This is crazy. Good thing I had this backup flashlight, because I lost my headlamp yesterday when I fell. I tripped and fell on the ground and didn't see anything come out of my pack or feel anything, but my headlamp was gone, so it must have bounced out. Well, I wasn't planning on hiking in the dark. Thank goodness for this backup flashlight. I'm gonna keep trekking on. Well, an official good morning here on day 7, I think. Yeah, I start losing track of time after being out here for a week. But this afternoon at 12:30, I will have officially been on trail for 1 full week. So I think this is actually day 8. But if you go by the days of the week, I started last Monday at 12:30, and today is Monday. So yeah, what happened this morning was, in the middle of the night, my phone jumped forward an hour to Eastern time zone. But now it's back in Central. Craziest thing. I'm sure it's going to happen a few times here and there until I get to Georgia later on this afternoon or tomorrow morning. You can just barely see the peaks across the valley over there. I think it was that one. I know you can't see it, but there's a peak over there and a peak over there. One of those is where I camped last night in the Oakley Mountain Shelter. So that gives you an idea of what 3 miles of trail looks like. And I'm at about 163. It's amazing the amount of ground you can cover on foot. So I am 28 miles away from Cave Spring and my truck, and a dry place to sleep tonight. There is a 90% chance of 1.5 inches of rain starting tonight, and maybe, I think, all through tomorrow. So it's a perfect day to do my resupply and be moving my truck and taking some time off trail. But if I'm not planning on going to Cave Spring, because that's 31 miles. I'll probably just go 23 to a campsite that I see ahead. But it sure would be nice to sleep in a dry location and start off dry. Well, I wouldn't have to start off in the rain tomorrow morning. That's the big thing. So we'll see. We'll get to that 23-mile mark, see what time it is, and see how I feel, and go from there. Whew! What a way to start the morning. My gosh. 1,100-foot climb over the last 3 miles. Man, I was getting so frustrated. I didn't think it would ever end. But now I'm at the top and it's glorious. There's this morning's sun. And now I know I have a nice downhill stroll for quite some time. Looks like we got 8 miles of private property coming up. Just came down off of a pretty big mountain. And that water looks pretty nasty. I'm getting low and I'm very hot. I think I'll hold off till the next creek. I'm telling you what, elevated grounds has been fantastic. I bet you I've seen over a dozen of these milk crates full of water bottles. They do a fantastic job at keeping us hikers hydrated during these dry stretches. Huh, I didn't know we had any ladders on this trail. All right, we made it to the Hawkins shelter. I believe that's what this one is. Very nice. And it even has a chair. I'm gonna dump my pack right here on this picnic table and go sit in that chair for 5 minutes. But this location signifies 2 important milestones on this trek. First of all, it's the halfway point of today. I'm 15.2 miles. I got 31 total to do today, so I'm halfway there. And it's also the halfway point of the Pinhoti Trail. Woohoo! All right, I had a nice little stop here. Left a little note in the journal. Had a seat for a minute or two. Hawkins Hollow. What an awesome shelter. I would love to stay here. But I have 16 miles ahead of me. I've got to get moving. But we're making good time. And it is 10:50. So I probably got another 5.5 to 6 hours of hiking. It'll just be getting dark when I arrive to Cave Spring. That's my hope. I don't want to really hike in the dark tonight. Well, I can. I got that little flashlight that I found. So hopefully we make it before that. Boy, it has been nothing but brutal climbs. This Pinhoti is no joke, at least the Alabama section. There's a nice view. And I'm not sure what that is all about. All right, it looks like I made it to the top of this mountain. I'm guessing it's a turnaround spot for off-road vehicles. It's a trash can, a giant flagpole with no flag on it. I wonder if the flag's inside that tote down there. And a cross. And a great view. Wow. Man, I would love to know how many of those mountain peaks I have been on. Probably most of them. Whew. Incredible. Looky here, folks. Welcome to Georgia. 180 miles complete. All right, so here's the Georgia-Alabama state line. And what are the chances that I come across another hiker going Sobo, doing the entire trail, but not only once, he's doing it twice. What did you say her name was? I'm sorry.
I'm Owen.
Owen, this is Owen. He's doing an out and back on the freaking Pinhoti, man.
Oh, man.
When did you do your first?
So I started on October 8th.
Okay.
And I've been out since October 8th.
Wow.
Stopped at like 8 Acorns.
Yeah.
Stopped at Cheehaw. That was before 8 Acorns, I guess.
Yep.
But stopped in Heflin, Cave Spring, Dalton, all the good stuff. Like,
yeah.
It's been good.
So what's their longest stretch that you've had out here on trail with no resupply or town stop or outside help?
I think I've been out for about a week.
That's a pretty good
over
jump.
A week. Yeah.
Okay. And during that time, what was your biggest food craving?
Oh man, beer.
That does sound pretty good. A nice cold beer. What about food though?
Okay, food. Let's see. Pizza.
Yeah.
And then, where did I eat? So, yeah, man, I had pizzas. I had some Italian food at Almost Italy in Heflin.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
Some lasagna that was really good.
Good
Man,
deal.
Just anything I could get my
Yeah.
hands on.
Where are you from, Owen?
Huntsville.
Huntsville, Alabama. Okay, so not too far from home.
Yeah, man.
Good deal. Well, I came from Ohio.
Cool.
Have you heard of the Sheltowee Trace?
No.
If you're looking for another trail, let me just turn this off. Let me wrap this up. Alrighty, well, it was awesome running into Owen here at the state line.
Yeah.
He's continuing on Sobo. I got about 11 miles down to Cave Spring. Currently here at the Spring Creek Shelter, just taking a 5-minute break. I'm at mile 21, 10 to go. So definitely gonna rest up a little bit and fuel up with some pulled pork. Take a load off. A 25-mile day sounds really nice, but I don't want to get rained on tonight and tomorrow, so we're gonna go 30. Walking by Hematite Lake. Hematite or hematite, I'm not sure. Got about 6.5 miles to go. This is some of the easiest and quietest walking I have done today. These pine trees are almost mesmerizing. All right, just popped out onto the road, out of the woods, for my final 2.5 miles into Cave Spring, where my truck awaits. Let this car go by here. And I am starving. I might even have to dig into my pack and get some food out. And I'm just about out of water as well. And it's getting dark, so I got like 3 things against me. But I'll be there in 40 minutes. And I can't wait. I'm gonna go to this catfish place. That sounds really good. First, I better go take a shower, get my power banks plugged in, get my laundry going. Then we'll go eat. Yeah, you're a good dog. This is a pretty dangerous road. I got my little light as I'm walking. And I get over in the grass and stop when cars are coming. Sun's getting low in the sky. Pretty, reflecting off all those trees up there behind that big, beautiful house. I made it. Back here at City Hall, where it all began. Feels good. Feels like quite the accomplishment, but it's not finished yet. This is just phase 1. Phase 2 begins tomorrow afternoon. Got to get a resupply and move my truck up the trail. It's supposed to rain all day, so it's a perfect time to get all that done. But right now, it is charge my battery banks, take a shower, do some laundry, and eat some food ASAP. I'm dying. It was a 31.2 mile day, so a pretty big day. I'm glad it's over.